Should you play Slay the Spire is a question that I feel may not even need to be addressed, but the very fact that I know there are probably people out there who have never experienced this indie masterpiece is reason enough for me to come to you all with my answer to this question. I think Slay the Spire is a must-play game for absolutely anyone. It's action-packed, strategically challenging, and all the while very casual. Now, since this game is turn-based strategy, it might be a bit odd to think action, but the game thinks differently. Each and every character has their own arsenal of attacks, skills, and powers that you can acquire during your time in the Spire. The attack animations for both the player character and the enemies both feel like they carry a lot of weight behind them when it should, or they feel light as a feather when properly defended against. Each run of Slay the Spire for the most part relies on the gimmick or theme you choose to line your deck with in your time climbing the tower. Each character you can pick to play as in the game has their own strong points. The Ironclad does well with strength boosting cards that raise attack damage, exhaust cards that give you benefits for exhausting cards, and overall focuses on doing high damage with less cards played. The Silent is more of a rogue type of character that can do tons of poison damage, create tons of shivs that are free to use but do low damage unless you set them up properly, and overall focuses on doing less damage per turn but playing more individual cards per turn that cost less. The Defect has the unique ability to summon orbs that do various things like damage enemies, give you shields, and give you more energy. The effects of each individual orb is usually pretty light, but there are ways to increase the number of them you can obtain and also increase their individual powers as well. The Watcher is the most complex character in the game to play. There is a lot you have to balance with this character when playing her due to the nature of her abilities. The Watcher has 3 different modes she's able to change between, being Wrath, Calm, and Divinity. Wrath and Calm are 2 sides of the same coin. Wrath allows you to double your attack power while leaving you wide open to also doubling the amount of damage you receive, while Calm will bring you back to normal, but not do much else besides give you energy when you leave the stance. And this gives way for some crazy combos between the 2 stances. Divinity is a different story though. In order to enter Divinity, you have to collect mantra, and once you collect 10 mantra, you can go into Divinity, but only for 1 turn, as you will revert to a neutral stance after that turn. Divinity gives the Watcher a burst of energies to use, as well as triples your attack power while not lowering your defenses, so it's definitely worth it to build towards. The intricacies of these characters might be a bit daunting to more casual players, but this game is a roguelike. You are meant to lose, go back to the beginning, and start all over again constantly so you can learn from your mistakes and better yourself for your next run with the knowledge you gain from losing. On the surface, you may think that you need to set aside time to dedicate to learning this game since it has so much strategic depth, but the game is available absolutely anywhere and is pretty affordable as well. You can even play it on iPhone for free if you have Apple Arcade, but I primarily play it on my Switch or my Steam Deck. It's one of the first games that I think to bring along with me when I'm going to get an oil change, or I know that I'm going to be waiting anywhere for a long period of time, because it doesn't even take that long to finish. A full game of Slay the Spire might take you around an hour, but that's if you even get that far. Most of the games are much shorter because you lose, and that's okay because losing's part of the game, and either way, the game will save your progress on a run between sessions so you don't have to worry about suddenly having to focus on something else for a little while. Slay the Spire obviously takes place in the Spire, which is a series of ever-changing floors that each have their own unique event, whether it be a monster, a chest, a store, or a completely random event that can either benefit you or slightly inconvenience you. It seems like many creatures make the Spire their home, and not just monsters. There are merchants, people who play games with you, and gift givers hiding in the question mark rooms you see along the way. The Spire is like an eternal being that is never the same, giving a fresh experience each run. There are 3 areas to go through in this game before you reach the final boss at the end of the 3rd area. The first area is just kind of generic ancient ruins and has some pretty low level enemies and challenging enough mini bosses. The boss of the first area can either be a purple fireball, a giant slime, or an armadillo monster, and they're all pretty manageable, having their own quirks you have to work around. The second area is like a forbidden city that appears to still be lived in, judging by the lights appearing to still be on in the buildings you see behind you. The basic monsters in this area get really amped up this time around, as did the mini bosses. The area can be easy if you've built your deck well in the first area, but that can be a difficult task, being at the mercy of the random cards you receive on your run. The bosses in this area are a lot harder than the first set and are often the end of the road for many of my runs. There is a robot that spawns 2 drones that lock your cards away until you kill them, a wizard that summons friends you have to work around, and in my opinion, the hardest of this area is this knight who can remove his own debuffs and hack you down for massive damage. If you do so happen to get past this second area, there is a 3rd section where the final boss resides. Every single encounter here has the potential to kill you if you don't have a smooth flow to your deck going for you already. But if you added and removed the right cards, this area can be a breeze up until the final battle. The 3rd boss can be the slug that has a countdown for every card you play in this battle. You can only play 12 cards in a row before having your turn ended automatically, and it is transferred between turns, so one turn you play 10 cards, and then the next turn you play your second card, it will end. The donut and the pyramid are 2 absolute tanks. They go between attacking you and debuffing you and can be a nightmare unless you can do a lot of damage fast. And the hardest boss in my opinion is the bird wolf, who has 2 bird guys as backup, and after killing him the first time he regenerates all of his health and he gains more regeneration on top of that, and then you have to kill him again. It's absolutely insane. Deck building is the main thing you need to be worried about in this game, alongside fighting mini bosses, because the more of those you kill, the more artifacts you'll gain, which are like mini quirky buffs that are always activated and can make or break any run. If you use deck building to create a synergy with the artifacts that you're given in the game, you can really create an unstoppable strategy to blow through the Spire. The key to a good run in Slay the Spire is also patience, to take your turn a bit slower, just so that you can plan out the reasoning behind your moves and have as little waste in your turn as possible. I think that this game is for you if you're looking for an in-depth strategic experience that is reminiscent of a game that just blew up recently, being Balatro. Balatro is just like Slay the Spire in more ways than just being a card game. The Joker cards are obviously inspired by the artifacts in Slay the Spire, and the rogue card-like game path was paved by Slay the Spire in the first place, so Balatro probably wouldn't even exist without it. Slay the Spire is one of the greatest indie games ever made, and I'm very excited to see what's to come from the second installment in the series, because I have been waiting an extremely long time for there to be more content in this game. After playing through all 4 characters hundreds of times for hundreds of hours across many different consoles, the game doesn't really get old, but I think that it would be nice to have added a steady stream of content for this game and kept it a bit more alive than it has been over the years, but I understand constantly adding new cards and characters may have affected the nigh perfect balancing this game has accomplished. If you enjoyed this video and you have any tips or personal opinions on Slay the Spire and your experiences with the game, or if you just want to chat about nerd stuff with me, please leave it down in the comment section below and leave some suggestions for other games you'd like to see me talk about or try in the future for videos on this channel. I'd like to thank you all for watching. All that I ask is that if you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe down below. I will be releasing a new video every Monday.